I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'd like to talk about Mars. Mars represents fire and energy. So Mars is that planet that can represent your energy level, your fire, your inspiration. But remember that Mars can deal with war, anger, and just the blow up of these type of energies that are fiery. But more than anything, remember Mars has to do with an individual's courage. Mars equates to courage. So Mars signs that it rules are Aries and Scorpio. And when Mars is in these signs, people are very passionate and driven. Aries, they're just really energized and fast. Mars going to the sign of Scorpio can bring up strong passions and emotions. And Mars exaltation sign is Capricorn. And Mars being in Capricorn makes one extremely ambitious, driven, motivated in every way. But its debilitation sign is Mars in Cancer. And I believe that when people have Mars in Cancer, many times this just creates disturbances in the family life. Growing up, the family life was not peaceful, was not calm. There was always disruption going on because that represents the ability to be nurtured, the sign of Cancer. So Mars is Mangala, and it rules Tuesday. So on Tuesday, in order to pay homage to Mars, you would wear red. Mars is fire, it's red, and the gemstone that goes with it is red coral. This represents the fiery energy, the drive. It deals specifically with ambition, but because it deals with war, it's a planet of war, that it deals with everything that deals with war, such as guns, knives, fire, explosions, bombs, and it can even deal with volcanic eruptions. So Mars is this power and blow up, and most specifically, Mars is anger. And those sometimes that have Mars retrograde, it can represent that they are so uncomfortable expressing their anger that they push it down. And many times it comes out in more negative ways, maybe a volcanic eruption later, or it can come out in terms of being passive aggressive. The way that you get back at people, you're not going to be in their face, like maybe someone with Mars and Aries. Mars and Aries is short fuse. You get it out and it's over. Whereas someone with that seething anger and resentments could be Mars retrograde, possibly in Cancer, something to that effect where it's just not easy to express that energy that Mars is truly all about. And so because it is the planet of war, it's called the commander-in-chief, and therefore it can deal with being in charge and being someone who can lead in decisive planning. Mars is also rules blood, so it can deal with circulation and the ability to have good circulation in the body, which is essential. So Mars in the first house, that's afflicted, aspected by malefics, could possibly cause strokes because it's the head, the first house, and Mars deals with the blood flow. So it could deal with all sorts of diseases with the blood, such as anything to do with blood flow or particularly blood diseases. So it also deals with real estate. That's one thing that you don't put two and two together. Remember that Mars is a planet that can deal with whether or not we're going to change or move our residence, because it deals specifically with real estate. Whereas Saturn rules land, Mars rules real estate in and of itself. And it is Karaka for brothers and sisters. So wherever Mars goes can tell you about your relationship with your siblings. And when you have Mars in the third house of siblings, it always causes contention and problems with a sibling, and most specifically the youngest, but it can rule all siblings. Wherever Mars goes in the chart will be representative of brothers and sisters. So if you have Mars in the 8th house, this would represent difficulty for the brothers or sisters, or even the relationship you have with your brothers or sisters. Mars in the 1st house is going to make you ambitious, driven, and you can't sit still for a minute. You're always getting up and doing something. Mars in the 2nd house can mean great ability to earn and gain money, but sometimes you spend it too fast, and sometimes you don't take time to sit down and eat properly because you eat too fast with Mars in the 2nd. Mars in the 4th house could be relationship issues with the mother. The mother is too angry or dominant in some way, problems with the mom, arguments. Mars in the 5th represents high degree of intelligence. The 5th house is intelligence, and that's another thing that Mars rules, intelligence. It will represent how smart someone is. Mars, they say, is the bright one, and I've noticed when people have Mars in the 1st house, they do shine and sometimes have curly hair and they just glow. Mars in the 6th house is great for health as long as there's not an array of other planets. By itself, it gives a strong constitution, but it can make one somewhat accident prone. Mars in the 7th house is Kuja dosha. It's not good for relationships or marriage, causes contention and fighting with partners. Mars in the 8th house could cause disgrace, humiliation at times, scandals, and problems with a brother or sister. Mars in the 9th house would represent the father being strong and maybe in the military of some sort, but very strong and strict. Mars in the 10th house is fantastic for career. Career will take off and it can promote successes. Mars in the 11th, problems with the oldest brother or sister, and it can also represent many friends, but sometimes you'll have issues with them. Mars in the 12th, be careful about gossip, but most likely there will be people that talk behind your back. So with that, I think I've covered everything that we need to know for right now concerning Mars. Let's see. Yes, it represents blood, and its Digbala, by the way, which means where it really gets the strength, is going to be in the 10th house. So with that, I'd like to close. If you want more information on astrology, you can always go to my website, galacticcenter.org. Or if you want to learn Vedic astrology, go to my university, University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.